T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Shout out to USARK and all USARK members. If you don't know what USARK is, don't be ashamed. Just go ahead and click the third link in the description below. See what USARK is all about, okay? You never know when legislations are going to hit your backyard, so that's why it's very important to consider becoming a USARK member today. These numbers really do matter, and they look at it for consideration when it comes to battling legislation. So first and foremost, thank you, Phil Goss. Thank you to anybody out there who partners up and volunteers with USARK organization. Thank you for anyone out there who's a USARK member. And if you can't become a USARK member today, please talk about it on your platforms. Let your neighbors know, let all your pet stores know what USARK is here for, and it's here to fight for our animal rights. Thank you to every USARK member and USARK supporter out there. True.
All right, what up, everybody's number 650 new breeder on the block. Big C in the house, Big E in the house. Really excited to have one and only David from Watt Exotics on tonight. V-Unit fam in the house. Really excited to get to know him a little better. I know he's doing multiple species, so want to get into that. His ball python projects, everything in between. So really excited to get started with that. I'm going to do some of the sponsors here really quick, and then I'll bring on Big E and we'll kind of get going. So we got here Blake. You guys know we love Blake with Blake's Exotic Feeders. Hit him up for all of your quail needs. We're always striving to produce or feed the very best protein to our animals. So hit up Blake if you're needing some quail. Tell him that the trap sent you, and go from there. We got none other than the Reptile Super Show coming up next weekend with Pomona. I'll be there. It'll be my first Super Show. Super excited to hit the West Coast and see what's going on over there. I've heard nothing but good things about Rami and how he does his show, so I'm really excited for that experience coming up. And then we got RGI, so with Rare Genetics for all your shed testing needs. As we've discussed numerous times on this podcast, shed testing is becoming needed for our collections in order to improve them the year after year. You know, in order to get an edge, you need to do shed testing with your animals. And then we'll kind of end that with Clutch. You know, Emilio's got it, and he's really liking it. I'm definitely going to get it once I move and get everybody set up again, start using Clutch. I'm really excited for all the new features that they're coming out with and doing a great job of being able to just organize your ball python collections in a kind of modern, really nice looking way with the tags and everything else on the enclosures to make it easy to follow the incubator countdown, all of that, able to track lineage and history too is really great with this. So really excited to use that. And so with that, I'll bring Big E. We'll talk a little bit and we'll get started. What's up?
Yo, what's up?
How's it going?
Big C.
Big C's back. Yeah. So tell us about your big trip, man. How was that?
Well, I've ended my first Georgia show. Got another state under the belt. Did phenomenal. Very happy. Met a bunch of new people. It was great. Made good money. Very happy about that.
That's always nice.
Yeah. It was great. It was great. It was an experience.
So what was like the thought process on going to Atlanta? Because I know you've done the Super Show, which was your first out of state, correct? So this is your number 2 state you've gone to, or have you gone out of state before?
This was number 2. Yeah.
Okay.
There was an opportunity.
Okay.
I got an opportunity and I took it, and it was great. And now we're gonna go into Texas, hopefully Utah, and 2 cities in Texas, which is gonna be dope. And from there, we'll see what else we do. Gotta push the needle. You know how I say.
Oh yeah, if they're all the same, is it Reptilian Nation, right? Okay,
Yeah.
So it's the same guy doing the ones in Texas and the
Yeah.
Utah one. Okay. Wow, Utah, that'd be a trip.
Yeah, that's a
For sure.
really good one. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
So yeah, that's the plan. Just to keep pushing the needle, get better. We all got to push our boundaries, or push this. No ceilings. That's what I meant. Just can't keep doing the same stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna still do all of Florida, but I'm just gonna pick and choose. What makes sense and what doesn't make sense.
Always a way to get better. I'm curious, how did that compare to the Florida shows you've done? Like pretty same number of people, or was there anything that stuck out to you?
Well, it was busy, but what I say is that there's a little different demographic. It was cool. It was cool to just because anyone that does, let's say we do the whole state of Florida, right?
Correct.
We know everyone that hits the shows. So here, I didn't know anyone but Chad. Chad came by. We hung out for for a good bit. It was awesome to see him again. V Unit baby, what's up? Yeah, it was good. It's just great to meet more and more people in person. Build a new customer base. I like to tell people that anyone that buys an animal from you and they're happy, a good amount of them come back. So yeah.
Okay, cool, awesome. Oh, so we switch gears a little bit. So we know about David from MORPH Exotics. He's relatively new in the V-Unit, but
yeah, Dave messaged me one day, wanted to join the unit. I was very happy to bring him in. Guy has a bunch of experience with a bunch of different species. Was in before, came back, and he's off and running. He's got a bunch of cool stuff. Diverse collection. You know how I feel about that. It makes you a better keeper. Looking forward to hearing more about him, his story.
Yeah, super excited. Yeah, he's been a great addition to the chat, and know does some other species. So yeah, I want to get into that. Where's mindsets, all of that. Do you want to say hi to people in the chats, and then we can hit the little dancey dance song? We got, let's see what we got here. We got Boza.
It's my dog right there.
Yep. We got Joey.
V-Unit General.
V-Unit, Florida fam too.
Joey's gonna be on here in a couple weeks.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Guy had his first few clutches. Great. Has some amazing animals. Yeah. Man, Freddie will be on here in a couple years.
A couple years. Yeah. Yo.
What's up, Travis? The trapper.
Yep, I met Travis in person. We got none other than
Chad.
old Pride Chad.
Man, let me tell you a story about Chad, bro. Chad was at the table, right? And this has never happened at a show. So he's there bad-mouthing pieds and shit. And this customer's holding a pied. And the pied pisses all over the display trying to get to Chad.
No way.
Yeah, he's
really?
trying to piss all over Chad. Yeah.
Animals know. They have no. You sound crazy. They have a sense. Man. They have a sense.
Yeah, Chad was at the table for a good hour with us, and we were chopping it up. Chad's fucking awesome. Chad will be on here this fall as well.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Looking for. Yeah, I've met Chad a few times. I think Tinley and Bob's show. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a good dude. Those pieds, man, they'll get them. Do a few more here. We got Eric from Eric's Boar Factory. Hello.
Love Eric and his family.
We got Mission Morphs. Thanks for tapping in. Big Mike from 77 Exotics. We got Greg here. Trap Fam. And we'll finish it up with Miss Amanda here. Trap Fam and V-Unit Fam.
Yeah.
Local to me. Excited. Okay, we'll play a little dance. We'll bring Dave on, go and get on the show.
No, I don't know. I was told Nicolas Cage watches the show, and
are you serious?
And he does the dance.
You lying? Who told? Is that real? Or
that's what I was told, man.
Are you serious?
Yeah, the trap got some big hitters watching. I'm telling you.
Yo, Nicolas Cage put it in the chat. I love National
Yo.
Treasure. That's my favorite movie, man. I love National Treasure.
Let's dance.
Let's dance. Yo.
Good.
You ready for do more in the future? Trap
Yes.
Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man,
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes.
exclusive. Oh,
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, God love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up.
Woo, what up? What up?
What up, Mr. Watt?
Mr. White.
Big C, Big E, what's up?
Yeah. Welcome to New Beer on the Block, bro.
Where's Nicolas Cage at?
I know. He
Oh, he was in Atlanta this weekend. I didn't see him, but I saw a picture of him in front of my homie's setup. I heard he was spending big bucks. He's got the bug. That's what I'm gonna tell you. So
Yeah, wow.
dope stuff, man. Our industry is unstoppable. So let's get into it.
Yeah. I always like the general, hey, tell us about yourself, how you got into reptiles.
Yeah, man. From the
know.
the beginning of all this.
Yeah, so it started at a really early age for me. Kind of how like a lot of people got into reptiles, it started off when you're a kid, you're just one of those people who's always outside, you're catching bugs, you're catching fish, you're just, really spending a lot of time outside and in nature. And I was always just kind of that kid from the get-go. Then when I was 8 years old, randomly, somebody just gave me a stack of reptile books. And it was strange. Like, it was just like this immediate click of like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. This is my whole personality now. It's just this stack of reptile books. And then when I was about 10 years old, we had a reptile shop open up in my hometown. Spent pretty much every week, at least once, twice a week, visiting the shop, bombarding the owner with questions and bugging him, what's this, what's that, asking a million questions. And then when I was 11, I finally convinced my parents to give me a ball python from the shop. And so for my birthday, they did that. And right off the bat, I knew I wanted more. So I started doing whatever I could to get more. So I started mowing my neighbors' lawns. I started picking up extra work from a very young age to be able to get more snakes. And eventually I bought a lesser male. And in 2013, I was 14 years old at that time, bred my first ball pythons ever. It was literally just a normal to a lesser. And from there, got a job in high school and continued to just grow the reptile collection. Pretty much every extra dime I had just went to building this reptile collection, and bred ball pythons all throughout high school, doing a couple clutches every year, owned several different species. I had a handful of chondros. I had Amazon tree boas, short-tailed pythons. Was building this pretty nice sized collection. And then one day it hit me that I was only going to be able to expand this so far living at home. And kind of told myself, okay, it's time to dial this back a little bit. I need to focus first on my own career path, buying my own house, doing all of this. That way I can actually expand this reptile thing. And so 2018, I made the choice to sell pretty much all the collection. I kept a couple animals just as pets. Used that money to go to trade school. And then 2019, I got married. And then in 2020, bought a house and then got right back into reptiles again. And that's kind of where we are now. 2023, I produced my first 2 clutches since getting back into it. And it was kind of a quick process of getting out to do what I needed to do to then get back in as quickly as possible.
Let me ask you something, because for me, I remember exactly as a child what I saw in the first pet shop I went into. Do you remember the animals that made real impact on you in that pet shop?
100%. It was actually like right when I walked in a critter keeper, there was 3 of them side by side. There was a red neochondro, a yellow neochondro, and a jungle carpet. And from the moment I saw that, I couldn't believe it. I was like, I have to have these. I have to have a snake, you know?
Yeah. What I remember the most for me is red-tailed boas, babies, and scorpions.
Scorpion.
That's what I remember the most. Yeah.
I didn't know you were. It won't even. What are even scorpions?
Well, I mean, I was like, honestly, I was probably 8 or 9 years old.
Oh.
Yeah, but that's what stayed with me the most out of the whole pet shop.
Scorpions are cool. I used to have emperors, and those are really cool.
Yeah, I'm not into that stuff really, but I mean, the scorpion's always been an animal that I look at. I'm like, man, that thing is dope, but I would never have one. But yeah, that stayed with me, man. So, and the rest is history. But I didn't mean to interrupt. I think that was good to know.
Yeah, I mean, but that's kind of the gist of, you know, where I'd been and where I'm at now. So now I owned a lot of species in the past, and nowadays, or when I got back in, I kind of jotted down different animals that I had owned and which ones could I not live without again, and which ones did I own that I could go, yeah, those were cool, but since I have a fresh start, you know, it gives me an opportunity to try out a different species. And so that's kind of where I'm at now. I have some species that I owned before, and then I have a lot of new species as well that I never owned in the past.
Okay, so what are those species that you can't be without, that you've decided that you cannot be without?
So believe it or not, ball pythons. I thought that wasn't going to be the case. And
why do you say believe it or not?
Well, I mean, like when I owned so many different species in the past, and when I got back in, I actually really contemplated it at first, and I was like, you know, it's a fresh start. Do I just go full, you know, Ryan Young and own, you know, 30 different python species and all this stuff? And it was actually my wife. She was like, well, I want a ball python. And in 2020, we bought a pied when I was trying to get back into things. And then as soon as we bought it, I was like, oh yeah, definitely still love these. Full send. I started getting back into it. So.
Krista, before I address this, do you have any questions for him that I kind of took over a little bit?
No, that's okay. I just like listening to the story part. On the flip side, I was also kind of wondering what species you did keep and decided not to get back into, and like maybe why. Just
hold on. Let me go where I'm going real quick with this.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, so believe it or not on the ball pythons. Last week we had a viewer say that we were a little negative on ball pythons.
Oh yeah.
Let me reiterate something here. Ball pythons are 55% of the reptile market, and that's a fact. Okay, worldwide, I'd say. And second, no one out there could do what we do with any other species except maybe hogs, and they're not even close. Ball pythons are unstoppable. The things that we do with them, the art, us playing God almost. We love ball pythons. We were not being negative on ball pythons in any way. I now have 4 species or 5, and I'm gonna tell you guys, I will always be a ball python breeder. The things that we could do with them, they're a perfect animal. That's what I have to say to that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we just need to be real about it, that it's not all sunshine and rainbows, even though they are an easy species. The whole market, the money part of it, it's more complicated. And I think you need to have a realistic view when you're getting into that.
Regardless of how much money I can make off ball pythons, I will always have ball pythons. Mm-hmm. The things that we could do with them, no matter the perceived value, is second to none.
Yeah, if you truly, truly love them, you won't, get rid of them.
No, and when I did get back into them, like I said, is like we bought this first one back in 2020, and it wasn't even, it was just a normal pied, and just that animal was like, it wasn't the super high dollar animal, and it was just immediate, like, oh yeah, I still definitely love the species, and then it was kind of crazy too, because in even just those 2 years out, how much like that whole market had changed from like 2018 to 2020, like coming in and seeing all the different combos, all the different projects. Like when I was in it, it was mostly incomplete dominant stuff, bananas, bells, things like that. And then all of a sudden it was just like crazy recessives everywhere. And it was really interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're kind of going back to that now.
Yeah, I would say shed testing.
Except with recessives included in it, Mm-hmm. We'll see, man. Things the more things change, they stay the same. Kind of going back a little bit.
I think it's like about finding the right mix, like not so much the stacking part of it. I've seen like a lot of that where people are just going for the triples and quad, and it works in some projects, but I think ultimately it's going to be like a good mix of those incomplete dominance with the recessives, because in my opinion with the shed testing, it kind of makes things easier on the recessive side as far as hitting them, in a sense, just like a super sort of.
Mm-hmm.
So what's that project that really excites you right now, Dave?
So for me, for ball python wise or anything.
You could name them all, really. We could talk about it all.
Well, so ball python wise, excuse me. I'm a big fan of super chocolate stuff, so I'm working a bit of that. I really want to get acid into it. I want to be able to get DG hypo into it. That's kind of like where I'm headed towards most with it right now. And then I have, I'm working super gravel ultra milk clown. So that's like one of my ones I'm the most excited for. And then also tri-stripe as well. I don't have any visual tri-stripes yet. Right now I'm just kind of in, building heads up right now and working it from there.
I have a question when it comes to tri-stripe. We saw the tri-stripe True Ghost this week.
It's really nice.
That's beautiful, right? But my here's a question that most people ask, and it's valid. Where do you go now with that animal? The color's perfect, right?
Mm-hmm.
What can we do with that pattern? What are we gonna do? Because everyone likes to talk about how Monsoon is overpowering and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
But I'm the type that, again, when I talk about a gene in a certain way, I'm not hating on it, right? I'm just dissecting it. I get kind of bored with just seeing a striped animal.
Mhm.
That to me is a little boring. What can we do with tri-stripe to change that?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen GHI be pretty positive. I think also, I think that there's going to be enough genes out there that'll disrupt the pattern. I think because also on the flip side, a lot of people don't like tri-stripe because they're like, oh, it doesn't look enough like a striped animal. It's so inconsistent. And part of me wonders too, like if it would have like never been called tri-stripe to begin with, would it have like carried off or taken off faster, you know? If someone would have just come up with like a cool name for this pattern disruptor gene or something rather than calling it tri-stripe. Because I think at the same time, the name tri-stripe has kind of hurt it a little bit because people were like, well, show me the 3 stripes. And then it's like, not all of them quite have it. But definitely some valid points. I think it will be a tricky gene to figure out completely, but I think there's still going to be plenty of avenues to go down. For me, I want to see it in Super Orange Stream, Hypo. I want to see it in Redhead. I think that's going to look really cool. I saw an animal that I think the Redhead tri-stripe could look pretty similar to, that I think will make it look pretty nice. But we'll see. Only time will tell on that one.
Krista, what's your opinion on it?
I like the Ultramel tri-stripes. Of
Yeah,
course,
that's a great one too.
I think a lot's gonna have to be just try to play around with it to see what breaks up the pattern. But I think also from a color standpoint, I think there's a lot you can still do with it. Because I know with like Ultramel stuff, like yes, it's kind of like a similar base color, but when you add other genes into it, you get a little more like variety of the color. Does that make sense? Like there's different shades, there's like the flame. So I think you can play around with that and get a different look, even though you're trying to still keep the same stripe. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like it still will give some inflection. You can bring something that maybe does something to the belly or brings up the checkering, and that just gives it like a little bit of a different dimension, I think, depending on what you're wanting to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, they even hit a yellow belly Ultramel tri-stripe. That looked really, really nice.
Or like a lace, you know, that would deepen those blacks, but also may bring up some like flaming or pop.
Yeah,
the belly.
maybe tri-stripe, white lace, yellow belly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like the Ultramel, the Hypo, what Hypo does with it. Pastel is very good. Pastel DG. But yeah, you know, I want to see more. It's interesting.
I think it's interesting too, because like every time I see somebody post on like what pairing they're doing with tri-stripe or what clutch they have, I'm always like really interested. I'm always like, ooh, what's that gonna look like? And then someone else posts another pairing that they, and it's like, ooh, what's that gonna look like? So I think there's just still a lot unknown about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's got potential. I think it just depends on what you want to do with it. Keep the stripe and play with the color, or if you want to just really play around, mess with it, and add stuff that may shake up the pattern. You know, it's kind of those cool ones where if you're wanting to experiment a little bit, I think it's a good.
And then, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember. Has a tri-stripe clown been made? I don't remember.
I feel like if it has, it wasn't very like memorable. If it was,
I think it was kind of underwhelming. If it was kind of like the zebra.
If anyone in the chat remembers, let us know. I don't remember it, and you're right. If we don't remember, it's because it wasn't nice.
Yeah. If you could send, you can DM me and I can share it as well. If somebody's in the chat finds it, I can bring it up. But yeah, I don't know. That's my thoughts on it.
How about okay? Any other ball python projects you're really excited about, or at the moment?
So I kind of have, you know, all the tri-stripe, super chocolate, Ultramel, gravel clown stuff, and then I'm honestly a really big fan of just producing pet quality stuff, because I think that's how we get new people into this hobby. I think that's how you build a customer base when you're not very well known. So I have several like simple pied stuff, simple banana stuff, simple bell stuff. And I kind of want to have a good mixture of really cool showing off combos and morphs, and then I want to have that balance to make sure that I'm producing pet quality animals that people can afford to bring and be able to bring new people into the hobby.
I agree with that. This has been kind of shifted my mind a little bit too with doing more pet stuff. So keeping like the Ultramel pied stuff specifically to try to hit.
Yeah,
that.
actually, I have a clutch in the incubator right now too. Hopefully, we'll have my first Ultramel pieds.
Okay. So, yep. Same. They're about a month in, so I got another a month away and should hit
About
some.
the same for me. That's cool.
So yeah, no, they're pretty. I think it's important to have those combos that, you know, are pets. I think we get so wrapped up in the price of stuff, but even selling I mean, for me, just selling something for like, you know, a couple $100, man, it's a couple $100, right? I think we get so focused on the thousands.
My opinion on that is you also have to be excited about producing those animals.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're doing that, you know, go an extra layer than most people. You know, make them better. You know, put something in there that maybe someone's not doing. Make them pop. You know, because unless you have show access, it's still going to be a challenge to even sell, you know, that stuff. So gotta keep that in mind. You know,
I spent some time this past weekend just looking at pied stuff on Morph Market just to see. It's a lot of your like similar genes and just pie like OD, YV, and she is like probably 75% of it. So there's actually like even within pie, there's still a lot. I think you can add hurricane, acid.
Hurricane's great.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of them, but it's blackhead, you know, super blackhead, super hot. I mean, they're out there, but it's not a lot of them. So I found that pretty interesting when I was looking through.
Yeah. Dave, talk to me a little bit about your Sumatrans. I know that you are in love with those.
Yeah, those are my pride and joys. So I actually used to have a pair back in high school, and it was a really nice pair from Zach Green, and the male was from Zach Green, female was from TBC. Had them. They were one of my favorite animals, some of my favorite animals in the collection. One that I knew I had to own again. But it took a little while to find the right pair. I'm really picky when it comes to Sumatrans. I want nothing but the darkest ones possible. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with Dan Magona. He's a really, really well-known Sumatran blood python guy, Sumatrans and Bloods, Borneos, all that. I mean, he was known for having just some of the darkest ones out there. And he actually got out recently. He had some stuff come up, had to get out. And I ended up getting an opportunity to snag his holdback female. And so, of course, you know, I had to. And then I have a really nice male that I also got from him, but he had purchased from TBC as well. So basically both two really, really high quality line bred Sumatran shorttails that are just ridiculous looking. They're amazing.
Dope. Yeah, I held one last week at Boso's place.
Bosa has some, yeah.
I tell you, that was the most challenging animal, most powerful animal I've ever photographed. I don't know if it was a male or female, but it was having its way with me. Yeah, it was like leading me all types of ways, squeezing me, moving. Yeah. And you guys see, I'm pretty good at taking pictures with the snakes, even the dries, you know. Such a flighty animal. I've done well, but let me tell you, those animals, they don't play.
And they're so hard to get a picture that like accurately captures them, because if it's like there's too much glare, then they look real glossy. And just like the lighting really matters a lot too when taking pictures of them. Like I'll spend months trying to get a good photo, and eventually I have to post one just because it's been so long. I'm like, all right, fine, this is the best I got, I'll post it. But really there's the pictures do no justice to seeing it in person.
I don't know too much about them. Oh, they're pretty cool. They're kind of like Sumatran. They're kind of like have that blood python body look, right?
Yeah, I mean there's short tail python.
Yeah.
So are bloods. Bloods are in the short tail python family
Okay.
as well. But yeah, they're really cool. They're also just like a very like inquisitive snake. Like they're very personal. They kind of match your energy a lot. If you're calm, they're calm. Or if you start getting kind of handling them like a ball python, you're gonna find out. You know, they're not gonna tolerate being handled, you know, in any way they don't like. Which I think to me, I like a snake that demands a little bit of a respect.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they'll quickly throw that fu bomb.
Yeah, but it's really great though too, because they have this mutual respect of like, you're calm, I'm calm, and we're all good, you know. So,
all right, so talk to us a little bit about, you know, what do you see in the market, how you feel about the market, how you're reacting to it.
Yeah.
How you're gonna invest in the market going forward, what you're gonna bring in. Again, what excites you? What do you want to get in the future?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the way, you know, I don't do this. I don't focus too much about, you know, making tons of money into this. For me, it's always been about the love of the animals. So I always try to lead my projects of what's something that I think is going to look really cool, that I don't think anyone else is doing, or there might be not a whole lot of people working on it. And, you know, for example, you know, the super chocolate, tri-stripe, all that stuff. I try to just I try to not follow trends. I try to just do my own thing. And if it catches on later and people say this is really cool, then great. Worst case scenario is I produce a snake that I really wanted to produce. And then to kind of stay afloat during all this, you know, I know, especially someone for me who's not super well known, selling the more expensive animals could be, I'm already expecting to be semi challenging, because, you know, if you're not super well known, people aren't going to want to drop a lot of money on you. So luckily, I have a pretty good background of selling pet quality snakes, that I'm confident that if I can make, you know, bells, bananas, all that stuff, that I'm going to be able to stay afloat just fine, and I won't have to really worry too much. I'm going to always be able to sell those animals. I'm going to always be able to bring new people in and build my client base up from there. Yeah,
that's the game. That's exactly what got me in the door. You know, you know, little by little, day by day, brick by brick, you got to build that.
Yes.
That's a realistic outlook.
Especially, I think, Amelia, you've talked about this before, but a lot of those like pet animals, we all know how addicting it is. So when they come back looking for, they want to invest or look for a higher end animal, then they had a good experience with you, so you can kind of reel them back in. So
yeah, for sure,
definitely.
So what's next? And
yeah, it's gonna
next
ask
you. But what are you gonna get next?
Project species.
So right now I'm at kind of I have a few. There's some more tri-stripe stuff I want to get into. I'm getting a little bit into dreamsicle. I'm just barely tapping in. I don't want to get too heavily into it. That's a project I'm going to work a little bit. And then right now I'm kind of actually focusing on just keeping the animals I have. And right now I'm more worried about space at the moment. So I'm looking into hopefully moving in the next year or so. So most of my extra income and stuff I have to be careful with right now. You know, I have to kind of pause for a second, you know, deal with what I have, be able to get a bigger place, and then expand again from there. That's kind of my goal and where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna surprise you guys. I want to get more Candino stuff. I'm like in love with it.
It's pretty. It's hard. Is there a lot of like pieces out there to buy for that? I mean, I haven't looked specifically for that
I mean,
project, but
I got a clutch coming from Sunset, head pied to Candino Black Pastel Yellow Belly.
okay.
That's exciting, but I really like Candino animals. They're freaking intense, man. They're crazy. And I want more Ultramel stuff. So that's where I want to go. I want some Cosmos down the road one day.
Yeah.
Some Tornado. Some of them Granity jeans. How about you, Crystal? What are you kind of looking at a little bit?
I just want to do my stuff and just keep it. I mean,
there's nothing on your radar.
I mean,
that's what I mean. Guys, I'm not saying you have to. You're buying it in 6 months.
Oh,
I'm just saying what's on your radar.
I don't know. I mean, the Cosmos and Tornado stuff's pretty cool. I mean, I'm focusing more on the Ultramel stuff, so I think it would look pretty cool in that. But that's whenever that's affordable at some point. But no, I just kind of want to work what I got for now. But I like those jeans. I think they would look cool in it.
Yeah, and expanding the Ultramel clown stuff too. Like I want to get Blackhead in that project eventually as well. So that's something probably sooner than later I'll be hopping into as well. As I need to get Blackhead in that mix. I think that's going to be the next step after the Super Gravel Ultramel Clown would be to get Blackhead into that. So I need to already start getting some females to kind of start prepping for that down the road.
Yeah.
Shout out to Justin at Ozark. Bambino, you're right.
Oh, Bambino too. That's similar gene, yeah.
That's nice. Yeah.
Bambino's dope.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. No, Blackhead Ultramel looks. I have one Blackhead Ultramel female, and yeah, it's
Yo, dark combo clown Ultramel stuff is yep.
Pretty nice. Oh, I'm going puzzle personally with it, but yeah, so it'll look either way. I think it'll look pretty nice.
Can you guys imagine? And I know you don't love GHI, okay? But can you imagine a freaking GHI puzzle, Ultramel puzzle?
I think it would look pretty nice. I don't I don't love GHI and Ultramel, but that maybe it's just me and GHI in general.
Man, that's gonna be crazy.
I like Black Pastel, Blackhead, Acid, Hurricane.
Or Black Pastel.
Yeah.
Ultramel puzzle. Woo.
Yep. That's
Damn.
Eventually with some Sunset in there.
Yeah, there's so much meat on the bone.
So much to do. Like I spend time just looking at Ultramel stuff on Morph Market too, and there's like not a lot of different. It's like the same base, Enchi, Odie, not a lot of the. There's a lot of stuff that could be done with it. Cats like messing up. I think that's why like a lot of people just jump to the triple and quad stuff, and then there's still so much to do in like this even single genus has or even double.
Yeah, we could just start going down the freaking the rabbit hole right now and just
Nah. I mean, one of my favorite animals is a red stripe Ultramel. The thing like glows. It's crazy. It's just red stripe Ultramel.
Yeah, I love it. I've given you mad props on that animal.
Yeah, I mean, it's super red. You do super red stripe, super hurricane, anything. You do everything. So, love Ultramel.
Dave, any T positives for you at all?
He's good.
I mean, no. I mean, I have no. Other than, not really.
Yeah. They don't do it for you.
Well, I mean, I have T positive Nelson milk snakes, if that counts.
Okay. Yeah, I like a lot of the T positive stuff in boas and ball pythons. I mean, it's freaking awesome, man.
Mm.
Yeah, you want to get into some Lampro Peltis?
Sure.
Let's talk.
Yeah, so those were.
Do you need the common name?
Yes, I'm a noob. Okay.
Wow,
No,
we got you,
fine.
girl.
We'll use common
Wow.
names.
What's the common name? What is Lampro?
That's like all your king snakes, milk snakes.
Oh, okay.
They're all
I know
normal.
Pituophis. I know that one, but
Oh, all right. I have those too.
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. So when I was starting my new collection, and I was kind of picking and choosing what I wanted to keep again, what I didn't, and what I could start fresh with, a species I haven't kept before. And I've always loved colubrids. They're always just such, a classic snake. I think, always growing up, when picturing the word snake, I always thought of, colubrids, milk snakes, corn snakes, things like that. And so in 2021, I bought an anery milk snake, and quickly just became one of my favorite snakes I've ever kept. And it was it's a very simple, simple snake, been in the industry for years. Bought it, loved it, and quickly was like, okay, I've got to own more of these. And I think I've always had that mindset of like wanting to have a diverse collection. I was always kind of inspired by people like Ryan Young, growing up, and things like that, collections like that. And now that I'm older and have more, less time on my hands, and the colubrids allow me to own a diverse collection without it being so much work, like owning a bunch of different python species. So it was this nice balance of, okay, I get my fix of having all these different species and variety of colors, but while not having to be super bombarded with, taking care of a bunch of green trees and scrub pythons and Timor pythons like I used to envision, my collection would be. And so I got a pair of Hondurans. I actually have eggs for those right now in the incubator. I'm super stoked. I own the variable king snakes. I own the Nelson milk snakes, the black milk snakes, which those are really, really cool. They're a really underrated species. I think in a couple of years, those are going to really, really get popular. And then I have, and then bull snakes as well. I have a really nice pair of hypo stillwaters from Patrick Holmes. Really, really nice animals. Possible to photograph, but they're really nice.
Yo, those hypos.
Yeah.
My buddy has a few. They're incredible.
There's albino ones too, right?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I like those. Those are pretty.
Let me tell you, I've been close to picking up some hypo bulls, but I got my hands full. I love king snakes. I love colubrids. They're a faster animal. Much faster. How do I say this? It's just a faster game. They're living it up. They're not chilling. So I kind of like that.
Yeah, it was interesting. Like, first time breeding them was this year, and it's crazy how it's like, I take them off heat for a couple months, don't feed them, and then literally it was just like you pair them, they lock once, 2 weeks later ovulation, 2 weeks later pre-lay shed, 2 weeks later eggs. And it was like, dang, that was cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
I can tell you guys that my MBK females they're adults, and they're freaking incredible animals, man. I love how nice they look. That solid black, just beautiful.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine those all black milks, because let me tell you, those are popular. They're just not. There's not a ton of them out there, right?
Yeah, there's not. Most people that produce them usually sell out. Because they're really cool. I'm not sure how familiar you are with them, but they're always hatch out tricolor, and then they turn black as they age. Eventually, they become jet black.
Yeah. When do they start? When do they start to change color?
So like my male is, I think, almost 2 years, and it still has a bit of red left in him. So probably around 2-3 years, 2.5, 3 years or so.
Okay.
I like the MBK. I like the black iridescence. This is cool. It's a cool look.
Yeah.
It's hard to get that in the ball python world, I think. We've seen that one combo.
Yeah, there's a few. Yeah. It's just they're hard to hit.
Yeah.
And then people kind of stay away from certain things because of the kinking and
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, desert kings. That's another species I have. I've always liked those. They've always reminded me kind of like black-headed pythons. They have that similar look with the stock head, and they're pretty cool.
You have chondros?
I do have one. I have a biak. Really cool animal. I love my chondros. My old collection, I had 3. I had a biak, I had a Lyra, I had a Cyclops Mountain. I'll definitely be getting more later on. I just have too many other project loose ends to close first. But they're always just going to be a sit back, put in your room, observe. Nothing that I want to get too crazy with. I just want to enjoy them for what they are.
Yeah, you got a nice one, man. It's really nice.
Yeah. There's a lot to them. I feel like it. Yeah, for me, I'm very much want to finish up something before I start dabbling, if I'm even going to dabble another thing. But I think that brings back to diversity too, that you touched on a little bit. Is we've kind of spoken about this in the chat, but it becomes a lot easier for diverse if things have similar like care requirements, because I think and different care requirements get to help you become a better keeper too. But I still think there's like a line of like going too far and then having a hard time keeping up with the husbandry with everything.
Yeah.
But getting that fixed with similar husbandry requirement things. So yeah,
it definitely can. That's kind of like one of the reasons I don't keep really any lizard species. It's like that's just a whole new ballgame of diversifying your collection and keeping something with legs versus when you have all these snakes and everything. And because like I used to want Uromastyx. So it's like,
oh yeah,
I loved Uromastyx. And then I actually had one at one point, and it just totally does not work out in a room when you have a lizard that needs 100 degrees, and you're trying to also keep a chondro in that room. It doesn't work out very well. So
yeah, for me, leopard geckos, they're the same as ball pythons. Temp, they can be in a rack, so those are a lot easier than your mastics or bearded dragons for sure. But
yeah, I'm a snake guy, 100%.
Yeah,
I'm a gecko. I like my geckos. So
yeah. Lisette has a few crested geckos. They're cool. I mean, I have one that I picked out for me, but yeah, I'm a snake guy, man.
Yeah.
Me holding that 6.5 foot Texas 10-year-old Texas male this weekend was one of the highlights of the show. Made me regret selling the Texas female I started with. So I might have to revisit that.
Dang.
Yeah, it's just
you have the yellowtail cribos, and then you have the black tails.
Yeah. I just didn't want to have 3 different pairs. I didn't want to have to get a male, but holy shit, man, that Texas male was so beautiful. I might have to start looking for a Texas female again.
Is it the Texas that there's a lot of like inbreeding issues going on with?
No. That what's you're talking about the Easterns. It's kind of been a close.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of been a little rough because there's such a. I mean, and again, I don't know enough to say this, but I've read that there just hasn't been new blood.
Mm-hmm.
So they probably need new blood in the Easterns. But again, I don't know enough about that to speculate, and I'm not gonna be a rookie speculator.
Rookie.
I want to say out there to everyone again. I want to repeat. I am a new dry mark on keeper, a rookie. Yeah.
There's nothing bad.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
I was gonna say, there's nothing wrong with being a rookie. I think if you just understand that in your development and not try to come off like you're not a rookie, I think you're okay.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm gonna produce my first colubrids this coming season. Cribos, yellowtail cribos, hopefully. MBKs, hognose. It's gonna be fun over here at Villarino Reptiles. Diversity, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, but this is about you, Watt. Let's go.
How many clutches are you looking at doing like this year, and what's your collection size? I don't think you've touched on space, but not like how many animals you have.
Yeah, so it's really not too big of a collection. Clutch wise, this year I'm actually only doing 6 or 7.
So
Is the range I'm shooting for, and then my collection size right now is about 45 animals or so. Next year will be significantly bigger year. I have a lot of females that were just quite not ready to go this year, and next year they'll definitely will be. So this year just 6, and then
yeah, it's about similar. My collection size about 40 45 animals now. So it's for I mean, I know it's gonna get bigger, but it's very very nice when you're cleaning everything. You get done, you're like, oh, you know.
I've grown it really slow. You know, I had a big collection in the past, and then getting back into it, especially just like how much the market's changed and everything. I wanted to get back into it really slow. So really, I've only even since getting back in 2020, I've just kind of systematically have picked out around 10 snakes every year to grow it, which I know to a lot of people that's nothing. You know, some people do that in a month.
10 is significant, man.
Yeah.
Like me, I'm gonna tell you, I keep about 40 animals a year from my my production, and probably buy another 10. So, bro, I mean, 10 is not bad. No. You know, I'm keeping 50. Yeah, there's people out there that keep 100, but I mean, I don't know. We don't got to be comparing, right? I mean, I think you're doing what you could do, and bro, it starts to snowball. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
It will.
Yeah, with the whole backs. I mean, I think if they're the right animals too, that's definitely enough animals to do some damage in your collection. I think it's a way better approach than buying like 50 in a few months, right? And then
75 animals in 3 months.
Yeah.
You made how could you have made a solid plan in 3 months?
I don't know, man. I know it's addicting, but you gotta make sure you can care for the animals too, because like feeding gets out of hand.
Yeah. Dave, talk to us about your feeding practices, frozen thawed, preferred species, preferred rodent. Do you produce your rodents? Do you buy them? Give us that whole rundown.
Sure. So for ball pythons, anything that I'm keeping, it's live. Anything that's going to be for your project animals that you're selling, it's going to be live. If I'm specifically breeding animals that I know are going to be sold to pet market, my collection's small enough to where I'll actually take the time. I get them established on frozen thawed. Just generally, I've noticed new customers tend to like that. And I have the small enough collection where I have the time to do that. It's not too big of a deal for me. And then, every other species I own is frozen thawed. And then I do breed my own rodents with a buddy of mine. It's actually at his place. And I go over there every 5 days. We do a big deep clean, help them sort through all of them, set up new groups, all that good stuff. So.
Cool. Yeah, I agree with you. There's a really big segment of buyers out there that really prefer animals eating frozen thawed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I did a little bit of that this year, and the prior year. It's a pain in the ass, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
It takes me double or triple the time to feed when I'm using frozen. So, but
yeah, I can imagine with like your size collection, that's a whole different ball game. But for me, it's like if I gotta, get 20 babies on frozen thawed, it's not too big of a deal.
But let me tell you, man, with the way I do it, I had animals that took their third meal frozen thawed, man.
I would like to say I'm pretty good at getting them frozen thawed.
Yeah, I was actually pleasantly surprised. I'll tell you that. I mean, it's most don't do that at the third meal, right? But I had a few that did. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'd say for the, I don't know which meal it was, but got them to go over to frozen thawed pretty easily if they're, younger and a pretty good eater. And I feel like it shows it did make a difference of people asking if they would eat frozen thawed. Now, when you're doing frozen thawed, are you doing it like consistently? Because I've heard also people do frozen thawed for a couple meals and they kind of go back to live, but then they still say, "Oh, this animal has eaten frozen." Like, have you seen that where if they eat frozen thawed, they can go back and forth, or should you just keep them on frozen thawed?
If I'm selling them as a frozen thawed eater, I'm only going to feed them frozen thawed. If that's my sales pitch, I have to be living it and feeding only frozen thawed. And normally I don't even, because to be honest, people who are buying pet snakes, they ask way more questions than someone who's not buying a pet snake. They need a lot more of your time. They're the people who are going to be messaging you after hours, asking questions. And I like to just make sure I can give them a really, really established snake to where they're not going to have any problems. And it's just going to be an easy pet for them. So I usually don't even sell them until they've had at least 5 consecutive frozen thawed meals in them. And then I just continue feeding that weekly until they sell.
Yeah, I agree. For the most part, it's better to keep the animal in the frozen thawed rhythm with the, because they might get a preference to the live.
I'm worried about that.
Yeah. But there are animals that are such good eaters that they'll take both. But you don't want to rely on that, So.
Yeah. Makes sense. Okay, cool. Yeah, just something I heard, so I didn't know what your thoughts, experiences were, but makes sense.
Okay, so Dave, tell me what you love about the ball python game and what you hate about it.
What I love about it is it's the most creative you can get in this entire reptile world. You get to make the coolest combos. You get to make all the crazy colors. I mean, it's the closest thing to art we have in this industry. And I think and it's never ending. You have unlimited, you would never be able to think of enough combos to make in your lifetime. And you're always getting to see other people's ideas, and it's always just really fun to see what everyone's doing and all the crazy stuff everyone's making. My least favorite thing about it, I would just say, is just sometimes the community. It's nothing really even too negative. Just sometimes I see people get into it for the wrong reasons, and that's a little annoying. But overall, I don't really have anything too negative to say about it.
What's amazing for me is that I always have something to look forward to. Always that next combo, always that, like much like Justin says, the next one, right?
Yeah.
It's nice to have a bunch of projects where you can say the next one. That's what's so amazing about the ball pythons. I want to produce cribos, and I want to make some really nice yellows, some really nice blacks, but there are limitations. You do not have those with ball pythons. You do not have those with hognose to an extent, right? That's why those two games are so unstoppable to me. What are you, since you're a Coluber guy, what are your opinions on hognose? Because let me tell you, some of the Coluber people, much like some of the reptile game hates ball pythons, some of the Coluber people hate hognose.
Really interesting.
Yes.
Funny. That's funny.
Talk to me a little bit about that, David.
I like them a lot. I definitely will be getting into them in the future. It's just right now they're not at the top of the priority, but I mean, what's not to love about them?
They're cute. Well,
they're I mean, everything about them.
Yeah.
Their personality, all the different colors, all the morphs. I even just they're cool. What's not to love about them?
Isn't it crazy how people just hate? You know, they hate on the top in the ball python game. They hate on the top colubrid. You know, they I mean, I just do not get how people could focus so much on others and other species. Yo, take your species to the top. You know, make it better. You know, make people love it. You know, promote it, man. You see how much I've been promoting Grebels. I love them. You know, I'm sharing it to the world. They're not these big, bad, angry monsters. You know.
Yeah, me it's like chewies. I love my chewies.
Yeah.
Man, I love those.
We need to go to commercial soon, right?
What was that?
We need to go to commercial soon.
Yeah. I mean, we're an hour in, so yeah. Commercials, yeah.
Yeah. Now when we come back, we're gonna talk about more ball pythons, more colubrids, more diverse topics. Let's go.
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
I like the ball. The colubrids, nothing against them. I just get kind of lost because I'm like, I don't know much about. But here we go, commercials.
Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. One of the things I love the most about the reptile world is reptile businesses that are family-oriented. I love the Rice Reptile family. Rice Reptiles have made quite the name for themselves over the last couple of years, rebranding themselves and also bringing amazing cutting-edge, front-of-the-line ball python projects that you must check out. Again, make sure you head over to their website, ricereptiles.net, Rice Family Reptiles on IG, to give them a follow, see what they have coming out. You can catch them vending at all major NARBC shows, Southeast Reptile Expo. A lot of great stuff coming from this family. So again, thank you so much, Billy, John, over at Rice Reptiles. If you're in the ball python game in 2025, you know what you should be doing with your sheds, and that's turning them in to get them tested. That's right, no more POS heads, no more 66% heads. We can find out directly through today's sponsor, and that sponsor is Rare Genetic Inc. Thank you so much, Ben and Sean over at Rare Genetic Inc. Head over to their website, raregeneticinc.com, and head over to their YouTube channel and make sure you subscribe to their YouTube channel. They put out a video every Wednesday to update you guys on new current events over at RGI, but I gotta tell you right now, very excited to continue my partnership over at Rare Genetic Inc. Head over to their Instagram account. Make sure you follow them on Instagram, subscribe, hit that notification bell on their YouTube channel. That way you're current on new announcements and anything that they got to update you with. Again, thank you so much, Rare Genetic Inc. RGI, you guys are the best student in the game. Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. You know, longevity is one of the biggest things I strive for when it comes to thinking about being a part of the reptile industry. That's why I'm very proud about today's sponsor, Mark Bailey over at Mark Bailey Reptiles. 40 plus years, full-time reptile keeper, enthusiast. This guy, you can catch all his amazing ball python projects on MORPH Market. So make sure you head over to MORPH Market, and that's Mark Bailey Reptiles on MORPH Market. See what he has available currently. And I gotta tell you one thing, he's one of the biggest and most respected ball python breeders we have today in the ball python game. So shout out to Mark Bailey over at Mark Bailey Reptiles. Thank you for all the support. And again, make sure you head over to his account on MORPH Market, see what he has available. Thank you so much, Mark Bailey over at Mark Bailey Reptiles. If you want to be organized, if you want to be cutting edge in the ball python game, then you don't want to miss this. Shout out to today's sponsor, and that's Clutch, #1 ball python organization app in the game. No better place to start off than by using this app. Clutch is an organization app that helps you organize all your ball python projects. It also helps your peers and your fellow community members look at what you possibly have coming for the upcoming ball python season, what you have currently available on MORPH Market. It's so awesome to be ahead of the game by using organization app like Clutch. Thank you so much, the entire Clutch team, amazing team over at Clutch. If I were you, I would head over to Clutch's Instagram account, and I would also head over to their website, try it out, see how it works for you, but especially if you're just now coming into this, before you build your reptile collection, I would do it organized, and I would do it with Clutch. Thank you, Clutch, for being so amazing. Excited to hear what Clutch has to bring in the near future. Gee.
And we're back. I'm so excited to meet Mark Bailey in person.
He's awesome.
Really excited. Yeah, I think we're get picked up from the airport next week. I think him
OG, like super OG.
Yeah, I'm super pumped. Anyways, back to ball python. So we spoke rodents. So are you just feeding your collection just rats? Rats only then? Like Norwegian rats?
I do rats and mice.
Okay.
No ISFs.
No ISFs.
No ISFs.
Okay. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about ball pythons, bro.
All right.
That's the name of the game.
It's the name of the game.
All right, so acid. Talk to me about acid. I can't wait to get some acid into DG and Exantic, and hypo. Get some darker genes in my leopard, acid clown stuff. Man, again, never ending. The stuff you could do with that.
Mm.
What do you want to do with acid?
Yeah, so acid, it's one of my favorite incompletes, and really I want to see in super chocolate is like really where I want to see it, because super chocolate already has kind of a funky, just abstract pattern going on. It's that rich chocolate coloration to it, and I want to be able to put it in the DG and hypo, and really I'm actually working it not how most people are putting the clown. I'm actually working it not in clown first. I'd rather be able to make kind of the base combos I want, to that way if they're going to work later on with another recessive down the road, I'm not jeopardizing it by already having clown in the mix, because once you go clown, sometimes it doesn't mix well with other recessive. Like if I want to add it into a tri-stripe project or a puzzle project, I can't do that if clown's already in the mix. So my goal is to kind of get acid into some DG hypo combos first, and then disperse it into other recessives later, like clown, puzzle, tri, things like that.
Yeah, for me, I want to also get it in. It looks like I stumbled into Motley. I want to get Motley, GHI, acid clown, leopard stuff going with DG. It's gonna be lots of fun. Very busy, dark, mean looking clowns. Really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I have a acid het ultramel girl. I think she might be ready to go this coming year. So yeah, adding that in with the Blackhead, Hurricane, Red Stripe, Special, Spot No stuff would be pretty cool.
Yeah, you don't really hear me speculating too much on what I want to do with the future. Man, there's just so much. There's so much, right? And sometimes you just think about it at the moment, It was easy back in the day to do 5-year plans, Now we're looking at 3-year plans.
Yeah.
Everything's so fast now. So what's your opinion on shed testing?
It's a good one.
I think it's awesome. I mean, I use it. I use it for all. If you're someone that I don't even know that well, and I buy a het from you, and it has a good price tag on it, I'm shed testing it. You'll have a guarantee. You show me a picture of the parents. If I don't know you, I absolutely utilize that shed test, and I'll send it out myself. I don't want to waste years just to get scammed, or just to, or even, I even think some of these huge collections out there, it'd be easy enough even for people to mix up, labels. Someone can even make a mistake of mixing up a label, and you can catch that way early on just by sitting in a shed and make sure, you know, no mistakes were made. And so, yeah, I love it. I think it's a really good tool.
Yeah,
I
it's
love it myself. I can't wait to send out these Posset monsoons. I have about 18 sheds to send out. Can't wait.
you can't tell. I'm not even gonna go. Anyway, sorry. No.
I don't want to talk about that today. That's yesterday's news. Yeah.
Anyways, no, I think shed testing it brings to light the people that are, you know, scamming people and all of that. Like they can't really get away with it like they were able to. So it's gonna help weed people out. Even
Also, there's a lot more Partho and Andro stuff happening out there than what we thought in the past. So that's gonna help as well. You know, identify maybe something that you might suspect is Partho or Andro. That's really important as well. So
yeah, I've heard of those clutches like happening, and then it looks bad like on the breeder, but it's so hard to catch those Partho clutches sometime you don't really even think about it.
Yeah, in 20 years I've only had one situation that I know of, and it was an Andro.
It's even rare, I think.
Yeah, I've never had those situations, so I don't know, you know, but it's very possible.
Yeah. The shed testing, yeah. I don't know how much more. I haven't used it I've used it here and there. I haven't had to use it a whole lot so far, but it definitely will be going forward. I don't want any like pos het situation or anything like that. So
David, do you ultrasound at all?
I do not.
What do you think what's your opinion on it?
I think it's really cool. I think it would help just like ease me if I had one. It'd be more of just that good feeling of, oh, this season looks positive, and not having to wait, I think it'd be really cool. I would love to own one in the future.
Yeah, I think I didn't use an ultrasound for 18 years, and I'm very happy I have one now. It allows you not to waste time on a girl if she's not gonna go. It allows you not to waste a male's time, his energy. I think it's a must for most people. Listen, I don't need it, but it's good to have.
It's definitely on my, once I move and everything gets situated, so it's on the top of my list to get one. I've been kind of spoiled because I can borrow one from work here, but I want a little more access to it. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna buy my own. It just takes all like the guessing out of it, but I think it's still good to learn your animals though, and their behaviors and all of that too.
Yeah.
So no, I'll definitely be buying one, scanning once a month just to catch stuff and go forward on that.
Is that how often you do it, E? Once a month, or what's your routine?
Once a month is good. Yeah, because at times I found myself doing it too much, and that's kind of a waste of time.
Yeah, it's not like pairing them multiple times in a month is going to really do anything. They're kind of going to grow at their own rate.
But then you know, you have a few animals that they show this amazing growth, and they're like, what's going on here? But yeah, most in my collection, the follicles will grow at a 10% clip monthly, more or less, and then it starts to really take off later. Then you have a few animals that they grow at 100%. So I mean, it's good it's a good tool to have to kind of nerd out, especially when you like, tracking stats and analytics and shit. It's cool, man.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I feel like when you're newer, a lot of these girls you're getting, you don't really know their cycle, right? Once they're on their own cycle, I think it's easier. But if you're getting a lot of these sub-adults, or whatever, not so much adults, but they have their own cycle that you don't really know what they're on until you start ultrasounding them.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to go to wrap up topics? Is there something that you want to address, Dave, that we didn't talk about? Something you want to bring up? Something you want to highlight about yourself? About where you're going? We saw you got a new logo. I really like it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Props to you to change up in the middle. You know, something that didn't work, that wasn't working for you, you changed it. That's great.
Yeah, it looks great. I like that you showed it to us, and
Yeah, appreciate it.
Ask what we think. I thought it was really a good logo.
Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm good with whatever y'all want to talk about.
So like glow and chill. I just feel like in Zen right now. Just like wanna like light up and just chill.
Dave, what do you love about the V unit?
That's good. Plug the unit.
I love that it surrounds myself with people who are positive about what we're doing. It's really easy to come across people that are really negative about the industry right now. I've had people in like Facebook groups or old group chats I'm in where they're all old headed. They're all very, the industry ain't what it used to be. It's blah, 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 this ain't that. And when you surround yourself with those people, you start feeling that way also. And so that's kind of one of the reasons I wanted to join in the first place was I was like, I need to get back to people who have the same mindset as me, are actually excited about this, because otherwise I'm just going to get, the life sucked out of me talking to the people that I am talking to. I need to get talking to people who are going to bring the energy back, and be positive about it. So,
well, positive and honest.
Yeah.
Honest. Yes.
Yeah.
I'd rather have someone be critical but honest instead of like, oh, it's just rainbows and candy.
Well, yeah, I would say positive or passion, I guess, is what I'm looking for, in a group that's passionate about it and not people who are just stuck in their old ways and people who are feeling down about the industry right now. I need to be surrounded by people who are enjoying it every single day. I think that's really important, just to surround yourself with those like-minded individuals.
I feel like that. I mean, correct me because I'm newer into this, so I may be wrong, but I feel like could be one of your pillars of success in the game is who you surround yourself with. Do you agree with that, Emilio? I think it's like there's so much stuff that comes up with like life and all of that, and so if you're not surrounding yourself with the right people, you can go into like a really kind of a dark hole. Maybe so.
Yeah, I think you have to surround yourself with like-minded people that aren't trying to push animals down your throat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, don't be part of a group that is constantly pushing animals on you. Using you as to unload animals that they don't want. Giving you bad information. Telling you to buy the worst incomplete dominance. like, come on. Just doesn't make sense. And that's pretty much it, man. Be part of something that's going to help you grow for real.
Mm-hmm.
Something that has had real, a group that's had real success. That values seeing their people grow. No matter if they buy animals from you or not.
Yep.
So that's very important to me.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I would say that's the Trap Patreon family and the V unit.
Yeah, Trap's been.
There's quite a few others out there. Some amazing ones, I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
Some OGs, they got some real amazing Patreons out there as well. So it's not just us.
Yes.
Krista, your wrap up topic.
Sure. I had a few of them. I guess I'll give it like a 3 to 5 year timeline. But what's like that one, and maybe you've already talked about, so maybe I can ask a different question. But what's that one combo or in a species? Doesn't have to be just ball pythons, but any sort of species that you'd want to hit in the next, say, 3 to 5 years. Doesn't have to be this year, but
Yeah, definitely the super gravel ultramel clown.
okay.
That's kind of where I'm headed towards. One of my main projects I'm the most excited about. Like I have 2 girls that are, and actually I have a shot at those next season. So doing that, getting blackhead into that later down the road, and then really tri-stripe is a big passion project of mine. It's one that I'm really excited to see what it's going to look, because honestly, I don't know what all of it's going to look like because it's such an untapped gene. But I think 3 to 5 years from now, I think there's going to be some really cool combos coming out. I should be making some myself, and I'm really just excited to see what they're going to look like. And then also, of course, and then my Sumatran short tails, they'll be ready. Hopefully have my first clutch by then. Yeah.
Awesome, sweet. No, the super gravel ultramel clown's gonna look dopey dope. Yeah.
All right, so Dave, pretty much, I want to know what exotics is going to be in the next 5 years. Collection size. Are you going to be doing shows? Are you going to be, really like, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yeah, so I'm hoping, ideally in 5 years, on a different property. And I want to be able to have, the designated reptile building. That is definitely something we're striving for, and kind of one of the reasons why, I'm moving pretty slow right now is I have to be able to, get that building someday and get the new property. But definitely I will be vending shows. I'm hoping to even be able to start vending by next year. Collection size right now, I think I'm already scheduled to pretty much almost double every year for the next 3 years or so. So like right now I'm doing like 6 clutches this year. Next clutch I should be able to hit around 12, and then the next I should be able to hit around 24. So kind of the way where my females are in their age. It's about adding about 6 more clutches every year for the next 3 years, and then from there it's however it grows. I don't want to push too much into it. I don't want to go into business. I just want it to be very natural growth, and however that looks like, we're just going to keep striving to make beautiful animals and make, quality animals, establish babies, and see where it ends up.
People, there's nothing, I think you're doing it right. People like to say, oh, you're not taking risk by growing slow. I mean, you're not taking the risk. You should be growing faster. Here's the thing, right? Forget the money. I don't want to lose the passion. I don't want to be stressed out. I don't want to not take care of the animals correctly. I don't want to risk losing it all, growing too fast. So I think you're on point. I think you're doing it right. You're very, very, you're very grounded, and people that are grounded and have a plan, they last and they grow, and with consistency, you're going to be exactly where you want to be. People that are out there faking it and, trying to look like instant superstars and trying to look like they are experts and trying to look like they have huge collections and all this experience. People read through that, man. People see it. So I just think I'd hope everyone just slow down a bit and be authentic, be realistic, and you will get to where you want to be.
Yeah, facts. All that can be super draining, so you just have to kind of block out. It's a lot of noise, and if you don't watch it, it can drain you a lot. So you just have to kind of filter out all that noise. And that goes back to keeping your circle of people, like-minded people, and helps you out there.
Yep.
Definitely.
But yeah, man, it's been a great episode. We're gonna do hot seats now.
All right.
Krista goes first. She does MJ's hot seats, and then I'm gonna do mine.
All righty.
So this is where I get confused. It's not the word association, right?
He's got hot seats and word association.
And I do them all right now.
Yes.
Okay. I was
do
like
hot seats first, and then word association, and then I go.
No matter how many of these I listen to, I still like when you're doing it, I forget. And these are off the top of my head, okay? So see how it goes. I remember with my own little flair. Okay, red Neo or yellow Neo? Chondro.
We'll go red.
Red.
Damn, you made that sound like it's hard.
Yeah.
I only say that because I used to have a yellow that turned into a spectacular adult. So it makes me want to
try it. I'm gonna go on a little tangent or side quest here. I think it's interesting what I've seen. Like the yellow, a lot of people are like, oh, yellow is baby, but then they think the yellows are really pretty as adults, right? Like, do you get that vibe or no? I get that vibe. They're like, oh, look how so pretty. It's a yellow adult. I'm like, but you don't like the yellow babies. So I'm like,
well, I think most of like the really, I could be wrong, so don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure most of the time the really crazy adults you see came from red Neos. It's just in my one experience of having a yellow, it ended up turning to a really nice adult. But I think generally the really crazy bizarre ones you see came from red Neos.
Okay, like a yellow adult. Okay, makes sense.
I honestly, if I had them, I would want red all day, every day.
The reds they're cool.
I mean, that's just it's a amazing animal. The reds are freaking so cool. I mean, I don't know. That's me.
I don't have one, but anyways, steak or fish?
Steak.
What kind of cut of steak?
Filet.
Ooh, filet. I could do filet mignon. Yeah. Alcohol or boo alcohol?
Yay.
You're like a beer guy or like a spritz,
Beer.
Okay. Any favorite type of beer? Budweiser? Soul. I've not heard of that one.
SOL. Soul.
Not ringing a bell. I'll have to look it up. Yay sports or boo sports?
Yay.
What's your favorite sport?
Baseball.
Oh, baseball. Okay. I was hoping basketball or football.
Van Halen or Sammy Hagar?
Oh, Van Halen.
Oh, Van Halen.
Van Halen. See, I didn't remember that one. I don't know who those two people are. So, yay import or boo import?
Yay.
If you could import any species, what would it be?
It's a hard one.
Dun, dun.
Puerto Rican boa.
Oh, a Puerto Rican boa?
Yeah. I don't think those are really in captivity at all.
Oh, cool. I've not heard that. I'll look that one up. East Coast rap or West Coast rap?
Not gonna lie, I don't pay attention to where rappers come from.
Oh my goodness. Good.
That means no rap, huh?
Yeah.
I'll listen to a little bit, but I don't pay attention where they come from.
Okay.
Yeah. I know at least Biggie and Tupac. I know where those go, but yeah.
Okay.
And Eminem.
Yeah.
And Bobby Shmurda. But anyways.
Eminem's from Canada, right?
Bobby Shmurda?
Eminem's from Canada, right?
I thought he was from Michigan. Detroit.
Okay. Gotcha.
What the heck? I didn't know.
What the hell?
What the hell?
I was trying to get you. Krista.
No, you didn't get me.
You didn't get me.
I know what from Detroit. Dang it, I had one other word association. I forgot it.
Milk.
So, okay. What's the word? Okay, cookies. Yeah. Or no, milk. Milk.
Damn, Krista, we slaughtered his fucking hot seats, bro.
I know.
Damn.
I wrote them down. I literally wrote down cookies. I meant to write down. Hey, I get a pass. Okay, milk.
Snake.
Okay. Okay, Coco.
Husk.
To mist a ball python or not to mist a ball python?
Mist.
What? He said he asked these things. Instagram trolls.
Don't need them.
Okay, here's a new one. Shipping.
Shipping.
Yeah, that's a new one. I'm at it.
Drama.
That's good. Okay.
Save money. Save money.
Save money.
Save money.
Coolest reptile podcast in the world.
Trap Talk.
Yes. I think
And
that
that's
was
a
okay.
fact. And that's a fact.
And that's a fact.
Jack.
All right, my hot seats. You got to keep one, okay?
Better than mine.
Okay.
DG or hypo?
Hypo.
Pied or clown?
Pied.
Black pastel or blackhead?
Black pastel.
Yep. And I love me some blackhead stuff, but I got to pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Chocolate or acid?
Chocolate because the super.
Damn. All right. Axanthic DG clown or super chocolate hypo DG clown?
DG Xanthic clown.
Black pastel hypo puzzle or special Pompeii?
Ooh.
We go black pastel hypo puzzle. Simpler, but I think it looks nicer.
I love that combo, man.
That's pretty.
Ultra puzzle or ultra sunset?
That's a tough one. We'll go ultra sunset.
Yes. Finally, see. Didn't
But
bring
that's,
up
well, no,
Nope, you're doing good. Keep going.
What's gonna look better? Orange Dream Ultra Sunset or Orange Dream Ultra Puzzle?
I don't know. See, I'm going ultra sunset,
Yeah.
puzzle, so I'm just gonna put them together. Long
I
term.
don't know how much is Orange Dream gonna make the ultra sunset that much brighter? Is it just gonna look? I don't know if it'll change that much because it's already so vibrant. So I'm gonna go puzzle on that one.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we'd have to see.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Sumatran or your best Lampropeltis?
Sumatrans for sure.
All right. Yeah. All right. Emeralds or chondros?
Chondros.
Okay. I think that's it. That was pretty cool.
All
That's
right.
it. Yeah.
I made up some of those at the end.
I
keep it
wondered because I was like, I don't remember that.
Be on my toes. Yeah.
Yeah. All
Oh,
right, go ahead.
I had the one I remembered. Least favorite incomplete dominant.
Oh boy.
We talked about what you liked, but
Least
don't
favorite.
use spider. Can't use that one.
We're gonna go nanny.
Ooh, ouch.
Really?
Nanny. Ooh.
Least favorite recessive.
Sunset.
What the fuck?
Oh shit, bro.
I love it in Ultra Mail.
Krista's
I
gonna
love
kick
it in
you off the
Ultra Mail
podcast now.
and everything else. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad. But if I had to pick between the rest,
Over G-Stripe? Come on, over G-Stripe. See, this is where G-Stripe don't get enough hate. We never bring up G-Stripe. It's always, Sunset. G-Stripe not that hot either. Okay, I'd much rather
but
try to
it's
sell a
still-
Sunset versus a freaking G-Stripe.
But you can mix a G-stripe in anything, and it will still semi work for the most part. You can mix Sunset's more limited, I would say.
Or,
It better be a G-stripe combo. That's all I'm gonna say to that.
or you could have 4 incomplete dominants, have a hypo G-Stripe clown. Still gonna look like a G-Stripe probably. I've seen one. Looks like a G-Stripe. Same. No changes. All that work, nothing.
I might have to tell y'all something in the back.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, guys, this has been a family affair, and it's been a great episode. Dave, I think people know a lot about you now. You're going to do big things. You're very passionate about the animals, super diverse. I think you're going to kill it, bro.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, so tell everyone where they can get in contact with you. Give them all the info.
Yeah. Find me at What Exotics on Instagram and Facebook. That's it currently.
All right. Well, it's been an amazing episode. Let's give you a hand of applause.
Yeah.
Thank you.
People are a little rusty at this stuff.
Yeah. I'm a little rusty. Yeah.
No, but straight up, man, great episode, bro. Keep doing what you're doing. You're great, bro.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right.
Have you on.
All right. It's good talking. Thank y'all.
Bye bye, Chi.
Whoa.